Vampirella is a character who has been around since 1969, first appearing in Warren Publishing comics like Eerie and her self-titled series Vampirella. Today, you still might recognize Vampirella as one of the familiar faces featured on your local comic shop's new releases stand. She is currently a character who belongs to Dynamite Comics. They have had multiple runs of her own self-titled series since they got the rights to Vampirella in 2010, and she is currently also teaming up with another powerful Dynamite character, Red Sonja, in their own team-up series. The world of Vampirella is also being expanded on at Dynamite with spin-off titles like Priest's Sacred Six, featuring multiple characters connected to each other through Vampirella and her world. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the recurring characters featured in Vampy series throughout the decades as we count down the top 10 Vampirella characters you need to know. If you're familiar with Vampy but are looking to learn more about her, click over here to learn some shocking facts about the iconic vampiric temptress. Want even more nerd content? You can stay up to date with us in terms of nerd news, announcements, and our own behind the scenes top 10 nerd content via our revamped Instagram page. See what I did there? Vamp? Talking about Vampirella? Never mind. Check it out at Top 10 Nerd Official and give us a follow there if you haven't already. Check it out on Instagram at Top 10 Nerd Official and give us a follow there if you haven't already. Alright, now let's get counting. Number 10. Le Fanu. Le Fanu is one of Vampirella's enemies and one of Dracula's oldest allies. She appeared during the first story arc of Vampirella's first series out of Dynamite from 2010. She was said to be Dracula's favorite vampire, an old vampire transformed during the French Revolution. Vampirella faced her in the beginning of the first arc of this run, and during this time she also met the ancient evil power known as Yagath Vermelis, which is believed for creating the very first vampires on planet Earth, giving them their ravenous thirst for blood. Number 9. The Rook. Okay, so I'll admit, Rook isn't really a character you need to know in order to understand Vampirella's backstory or anything, but he's a super interesting character who existed under the same publishing umbrella as where Vampirella got her start, Warren Publishing. In fact, back in the day, the Rook had one of the most popular series at Warren Publishing, where he and Vampy both started out, both being featured as well in the serial horror comic Eerie. During his Harris days, the two teamed up together as well in the miniseries Chains of Chaos. The Rook was Reston Dane, an adventurer who was also a scientist that possessed a time machine, which resembled the chess piece referred to as the Rook, hence his name as a character. He would also become a member of the supernatural secret organization known as Danse Macabre, whom Vampirella sometimes works with. Number 8. Chastity. Chastity was just your average American teenager until she was boom, transformed into a vampire. She is known for being one of the most popular bad girl characters of the 1990s. Early on, she became an effective vampire assassin due to the fact that for some reason or other, vampires could not sense her, giving her the element of surprise. Chastity has appeared in other comics alongside Vampirella or with other characters who are close to Vampy. She has recently also appeared in the new Dynamite series Sacred Six. Chastity's origins were later retconned during her time in Dynamite to explain how she has all the strengths of a vampire but none of their weaknesses. Now this is a lot less mysterious and is explained by the fact that Chastity is a rare human-vampire hybrid. Instead of being a trained assassin who as a teenager aspired to be an actress, she is a former gymnast, and in Sacred Six it seems she became an actress who also performs her own stunts, although she brings a lot of sass with her, but she is Chastity, so. Number 7. Vicki Vincent. Kind of a big character for a while in the comics, as Vicki was, at time, Vampirella's girlfriend. Vicki fondly called Vampy Ellie for short. Vicki might just be a human, but she is a loyal and often brilliant companion to Ellie, and the two of them are pretty cute together. Not only does Vicki prove to be a great partner for Vampy, but Vampirella herself proves to be a great and loving girlfriend to Vicki as well. Vicki grew up with her mother who mistreated her, often making Vicki miss school and stay home to help her with her work. When she was a 10-year-old girl, her mother had Vicki earning for her, working alongside her mother as a mechanic. When she was 16 years old, she was kicked out. Running into Vampirella set her life down a path of thrilling adventure, and even during moments when you suspected Vicki may not be quite as loyal to Ellie as she appeared, she'd always prove that her love for Vampirella was truer than anything in the world. They're just so cute together. Vicki and Vampy. VV. Number 6. Pendragon. I love Pendragon so much. He's such a bizarre character. At least he originally was. Pendragon has been around since the Warren Publishing days and has appeared in over 100 issues of Vampirella comics. That is a lot. He was a stage magician that worked at a carnival and was quite oafish and fond of drink. One day he became ensorcelled by a worshipper of the gods of chaos. Vampirella intervened, attracted by the forces of evil to the carnival, defeating those who controlled Pendragon. Touched by the fact that she had saved his life, Pendragon swore fealty to Vampirella, becoming her ally and joining her on her adventures, despite not being overly useful. Initially anyways. Since his first appearances though, Pendragon has become quite a bit more useful and is now a true and mighty wielder of magic. And not just a stage magician. Number 5. Mistress Nyx. Nyx is half human, half demon, and the daughter of one of Vampirella's enemies, the mad god Chaos. Nyx grew up destined to become the destroyer of worlds, full of violence and aggression, hating all humans even though she herself resembled a human and was born from one. So she is half human. It's like hating half of yourself. Her mother was a high priestess who worshipped chaos. It was ordained that Nyx would fight to avenge her people by killing Vampirella. Nyx would succeed in killing Vampirella and would unleash demons and vampires on Earth, believing she had won. However, Vampy would return to kill Nyx's lover, Hemorrhage, avenging her own lover, Adam's death. Poor Adam. But he's fine. Number 4. Lilith. There are a couple different stories when it comes to Lilith's role in Vampirella's story, but most people will likely know her as Vampy's mother. Taking inspiration from the biblical story of Lilith, we learn that she was thought of as the first woman and therefore the first wife of Adam, the first man, whom God created. Refusing to submit to her husband once created, she was banished from Eden. It is believed she had hundreds of children who were sired by demons. However, God saw fit to also curse Lilith for her actions, making it so that every day 100 of her children would perish. Jealous of Adam and Eve, whose children inherited the earth and were permitted to live, she sent her remaining children on a vengeful mission to torment the children of Earth. Later on, Lilith regretted doing so and instructed her favorite daughter, Vampirella, to eliminate her evil siblings, whom Lilith herself had unleashed on the world. Number 3. Pantha. Pantha is a longtime friend and sometimes rival or enemy of Vampirella's. She's known Vampy since their early days together as characters at Warren Publishing. Pantha herself is an ancient being originating from ancient Egypt. Back then, she was a high priestess to Ra and herself was worshipped as a lesser deity. Ra gave her powers, allowing her to change form into a panther. Full of bloodlust, Pantha killed many, but was in denial about her bloodlust ruling her, until it drove her to consume her own son. Ra cursed Pantha to roam the world for eternity, unable to ever find peace. Dynamite kind of has flipped the script somewhat on her origins recently, reinventing her as a panther who can turn into a human, as opposed to the other way around. Number 2. Adam Van Helsing. Adam Van Helsing is the son of vampire hunter Conrad Van Helsing, and is also a vampire hunter. Unsurprisingly, I think, just based on their family name. He's been around since the early days of Vampirella when she was at Warren Publishing, but this character has seemed to follow after her from publisher to publisher. Adam is one of Vampirella's true loves of her life. He fell in love with her the moment he met her, realizing that she was different from other vampires he and his father had encountered on Earth. She ended up teaming up with both Adam and his dad, working together as a team. The two were in love for a time, and even when Adam died, Vampirella continued to fight to protect him, eventually finding a way to bring him back to the world of the living. Number 1. Dracula. Dracula is often acknowledged as Vampirella's main arch nemesis. While Dracula is a character you may think you know based on comics from other publishers or novels, television and films which have featured him, if you aren't familiar with Vampy comics, then you don't know our version just yet. In the world of Vampirella, Dracula is an alien vampire who originated from the same planet as Vampy herself, Draculon. He was exiled from his homeworld and later would end up arriving on Earth before Vampirella, becoming known as the world's first and most famous vampire. He was the main villain featured in the 1996 Vampirella movie, which is something. I gotta say, if you haven't watched that movie, I don't know if you should, but you probably should, it's pretty ridiculous. Dracula is also often acknowledged as being the father of all evil vampires on planet Earth. bad vampires. Thank you so much for watching, Nerd Squad. What are some of your favorite characters from Vampirella's comics? Would you like to learn even more about her family and her siblings? Are there any other Dynamite characters that you love? Let us know in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you as always to stay nerdy, YouTube.